Okay. Hey. All right, we got a little bit to finish from 2-1. Hey. So we're going to finish 2-1. We have a little bit left to do with circles. So I want to write the equation of a circle. So that equation x minus h squared, y minus k squared equals r squared. So what parts do I need to write the equation? The center, because that gives me h and k, and the radius, because that will give me r. So I am given the center, so I already know h and k. But I need to find r. So let me go ahead and sketch what I have. And since I have to put a 15 there, I'm going to set my scale to go by 2s. Okay, so I'm going to count 20, 20. So my center is negative 8, 3. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And then 3 would be here. So there's the center. And then another point, or a point on the circle, is negative 3, 15. Okay, so here's negative 3 and then 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 would be here. So that's negative 3, 15. So that's a point on the circle. That's an xy. That's an xy that's true for that equation. So what I can do this two different ways. I can use the equation and plug negative 3, 15 and for xy and negative 8, 3 and for hk and solve for r. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. Or what else could you do? You could use the distance formula to find what that distance is. That would also give you r. Okay, but if I use the equation, I'm going to plug in negative 3, 15 for x and y, and I'm going to plug in negative 8, 3 for hk. So that's negative 3 minus negative 8, so plus 8 squared, plus 15 minus 3 squared equals r squared. So I'm trying to find the radius. So you can type that in your calculator. Is it 169? Okay. And then we're square rooting. So technically when you're square rooting here, it's plus or minus, but since it's a length, it's a distance, we only want the positive. So my radius is 13. What's the goal of this problem? What am I supposed to be finding? The equation. All right, for the equation, I need h, k, and r. So I have those, so I can write the equation now. When you write the equation, it stays x and y. You're not plugging in negative 3, 15 when you write the equation. The equation means you can have any x or y. So I have x plus 8 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals r squared, so 13 squared, 169. Okay. It also says sketch its graph. So I know the radius is 13, so from my center I can move horizontally and vertically, 13 units, and then sketch the circle from there. So I'm counting 13, but I remember I went by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. And then I want to go vertically as well. 10, 12. Okay. I also know this point here in green is on the circle too. So that should go, my circle should be drawn through that foot too. Okay. Yesterday we talked about completing the square to write the circle in standard form, and I said we do another one today, so that's what we're going to do next. Questions about this problem now? Okay. Okay. So just like before, these start off, move your constant, so subtract the 3. Okay. And then when we complete the square, we want the a, so the numbers in front of a squared, or in front of x squared and y squared to be 1. So if there's a number out front, remember we have to factor it out and divide. So I'm going to factor out a 3, and luckily 3 goes into everything here, so I'm not going to have to deal with any fractions. Okay, so I'm factoring out a 3. And then divide both sides by 3. And so then you get that 3 just to cancel out. So you can get rid of that 3. So I have a little bit of work to do just to get it set up. So now I'm ready to complete the square. Okay. All right. So when you complete the square, you want to do it with x and y because you want to write this in standard form. You want it to look like this. Because when it's in standard form, you can graph it because you know the center and radius. So you want it to look like this. So you want to have a binomial squared with x and a binomial squared with y. So that's what completing the square does. All right, so I want to group my x's together and put a blank, and group my y's together and put a blank. So I'm going to use the red for x. Okay, so this I'm going to try to color coordinate it kind of like yesterday to keep help you keep it straight. I'm going to use the blue here for y. And then the green is what hasn't changed. If I add some something to the left for x, I have to add that to the right as well to keep it balanced. If I add something to the left for y, I have to add that to the right as well. Okay, so let's complete the square on x. So I'm just looking at what's in red here for a second. So I have to do b over 2 squared. So what's the b for x? Negative 8. So negative 8 over 2 squared, that's negative 4. And negative 4 squared is 16. So 16 is the number I need to complete the square on x. So I got to add that to the left and right. Okay, so I set this up now so it would factor to x. What's the x going to factor to? X minus 4 because it's negative 4. The number before you square it, so x minus 4 squared. Okay, so that was x. Now we complete the square on y. So we're looking at blue now. So b over 2 squared. What's the b for y? 6. And 3 squared is 9. So I have to add 9 to the left and right. Okay, so then this factors to y plus 3, the number before you square it. Okay. And then I have to combine my like terms here on the left. Negative 1 plus 16 plus 9. 24. Okay. There's my standard form. I'm just going to rewrite it in black so it's all in one color now. So I have my x minus h and my y minus k and my r squared. So here's my equation. Now from my equation, I can find the center and radius and graph. Yes?
So you wouldn't have to square the 24.
The 24 is already squared. Okay? So when I want to pull it out to find the radius, I have to do the square root. Okay? So if you're working in your equation, it's already r squared. But when you take it out of the equation, you have to square root. If you have to put a number inside an equation, then you have to square it. Okay? So the center, so you're doing opposites here. So positive 4, negative 3, because it's minus h and minus k in your formula. And the radius is the square root of 24. 24 simplifies because 4 goes into it, so it's 2 square root of 6. But since I have to graph it, I want to know approximately what it is. 4.9. Good. Okay, so now I can graph. So 4, negative 3. And then my radius is almost 5, so I'm going to count horizontally and vertically 4.9 units. And sketch my circle. Okay. questions about that? This would be something you want to practice. Okay, this is on your quiz. Our quiz is a week from today.
What kind of question is it? Like, what's this called?
So, write the equation of a circle in standard form. Yes.
For the standard form equation, it's just the opposite of A and B, right? Like this is
Correct.
Correct.
So whenever you see a negative in a formula, it's opposite. Okay. Okay. Let's look at one more from this section, and then we're going to move on to 2-2. Okay, so if you don't want to write this, if you don't want to write this whole thing out, note the problem number. It's number 84, and this is from section 2-1. Okay, so we have the center of this earthquake. So that's going to be the center of our circle. We'll sketch that. So it doesn't ask us to graph it. So here's the center. And then it says it can be felt up to 12 miles away. So what's 12? What part of the circle is that? The radius. So this is 12. And we have a circle around that. Okay, I want to know, first of all, I want to write the equation of the circle. So to write the equation of a circle, you need h and k, which is the center. Do I have that? And you also need the radius. Do I have that? Okay, so let's plug in. So I'm going to have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals 144. So 12 squared, 144. Good. So that's part A. Part B wants us to use a distance formula to determine if a person living at coordinates 13, 1 would have felt the earthquake. So what am I finding the distance from? So what 2 points am I using? Okay, the center and 13, 1. So I want to find the distance from 3, 7 to 13, 1. Okay. So distance formula, x1 minus x2, so 3 minus 13 squared plus y1 minus y2, 7 minus 1 squared. So underneath, we should get 136. We could simplify, but I want to look at just kind of what the value of that is. So approximately. Okay. So what am I comparing this to? What am I comparing 11.7 to? To what? 12. Okay. So 11.7 is less than 12. So would they feel the earthquake? Yes, because they would be inside that circle. questions about that? All right, that's where we're going to stop with 2-1, but keep your notes out. We're going to look at just a little bit of 2-2. We do have to get it started.